Hello everyone, my name is MITHRAN GANESH. My MITRAN number is L2480487. Today, I would like to present you about a negotiation analysis based on a situation given to me. So, here we go. In this situation, I'm the buyer who purchased a pair of shoes on sale. Although the receipt clearly stated that the shoes were non-returnable, I still decided to return them after realizing they did not fit properly. When the store clerk refused the return, I raised my voice and complained publicly until the manager agreed to refund my money. This situation can be analyzed using 4 ethical standards in negotiation. So here are the 4 ethical standards that can be used in this kind of situation. The first ethic is end result ethics. It mainly focuses on whether the final outcomes produces the greatest benefit or satisfaction. In this case, the negotiation was successful for the buyer because I received my money back. From my perspective, the outcome was positive since I avoided wasting money on shoes that I did not fit properly. However, this approach may create negative consequences for the store. The manager refunded the money mainly to avoid further disruption and embarrassment in front of other customers. If many customers behaved similarly, the business could suffer financial losses and employees might feel pressure or intimidated. Therefore, although the outcome benefited the buyer, the tactic used was not entirely ethical because it relied on public pressure and anger. The possible outcomes could be buyers get refund, stores avoid conflict in public, relationship between customer and store becomes negative, and employees may feel disrespected or stressed. The second ethic is about duty ethics, which focus on rules, responsibilities, and moral obligations rather than outcomes. In this scenario, the store clearly stated on the receipt that sale items were non-returnable. As the buyer, I had a duty to respect the store policy because I agreed to it when making the purchase. The store clerk also had a duty to follow company policy fairly. By yelling and creating pressure, I acted against ethical duty because I ignored the agreed rules and treated the employees disrespectfully. Even though the manager eventually gave a refund, the negotiation process violated principles of honesty, fairness, and respect. The possible outcomes could be store policy is weakened, employees may feel unfairly treated, buyer succeeds but behaves unethically, trust and professionalism decrease. The third ethic is about social contract ethics, which are based on society's expectations of acceptable behavior. Society generally expects customers and businesses to treat each other respectfully and reasonably. Customers should communicate complaints politely, while businesses should provide fair customer service. In this situation, my aggressive behavior violated normal social expectations because shouting in public created discomfort for others in the store. Although the manager refunded the money to maintain peace, this may encourage similar behavior from other customers in the future. A more socially acceptable approach would have been discussing the issue calmly and asking whether an exchange, store credit, or exception could be considered. The possible outcomes could be public disturbance affects other customers, store manager gives refund to maintain harmony, social norms of respectful communication are weakened, and negotiation becomes emotionally driven instead of solution-focused. The fourth and final ethic is personalistic ethics, which focus on personal values such as kindness, empathy, honesty, and respect for others. From this perspective, the way I negotiated was inappropriate because I allowed frustration to control my actions. The store clerk was simply doing their job by following company policy. A more ethical and respectful negotiation would involve calmly explaining the situation and asking for help politely. This approach values human relationships and mutual understanding rather than intimidation. The possible outcomes could be better communication between buyer and staff, higher chance of maintaining a good relationship with the store, less emotional stress for everyone involved, and more respectful and professional negotiation process. In my opinion, the best approach in this situation is personalistic ethics combined with respectful communication. Even if I am disappointed with the product, I believe it is important to remain calm, polite, and understanding during negotiations. Treating employees with respect can often lead to better cooperation and solutions without creating conflict. I would explain the situation honestly and ask whether the store could provide an exchange, store credit, or special consideration. This approach protects both my dignity and the dignity of the employees. Personally, I will not yell or create a public scene to get a refund in real life. Although it might achieve the desired result, it can negatively affect other people and damage relationships. I believe respectful communication is more professional and ethical. Calm discussions usually lead to better long-term outcomes and reflect good personal values. In conclusion, this negotiation situation shows that while I was able to achieve my desired outcome, the way it was handled was not fully ethical. Although I was able to achieve my goal of getting a refund, the methods used were not fully ethical when analyzed through different perspectives such as end result ethics, duty ethics, social contract ethics, and personalistic ethics. Each perspective shows that while the final result may seem successful, the process itself can still create negative impacts on others, such as stress to employees, disruption to the public, and damage to trust between customers and businesses. A strong negotiation is not about forcing a win, but about finding a fair and respectful solution where both parties feel heard. Overall, this case reminds us that ethical behavior is just as important as achieving results, and the best approach in negotiation is always one that balances fairness, respect, and responsibilities. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.